You sound unconvinced, but
No, I'm not. Honestly,
I mean, what?
No. So it's your point that are you challenging him to reveal this evidence?
No, I would challenge him to leave me alone.
Because you're calling him a liar.
In terms of the experience of having somebody who was stalking you, how bad did it get?
Oh, it got pretty bad. It got pretty relentless.
Even if the email thing was true, the rest is not. So
why would you qualify that, Fiona?
Sorry, why would I what?
Why would you suddenly qualify even if it's true about the email? When you say even if the emails were true,
I didn't send him 41.
It doesn't mean the more serious stuff is.
Let me rephrase that.
That's really what you're saying.
So, Baby Reindeer dropped on Netflix like a surprise party no one knew was coming. Suddenly, everyone was watching Richard Gadd's harrowing tale of being stalked, glued to their screens by the raw, intense drama and the jaw-dropping claim that it was all true. The buzz was huge, but with fame came controversy. Before long, viewers turned into amateur detectives, piecing together the puzzle and unearthing the supposed real-life Martha, a woman named Fiona Harvey. She found herself at the center of a storm, dragged into the spotlight by Piers Morgan's YouTube channel for a tell-all that nearly broke the internet. For those who haven't caught the show, let me fill you in a bit. Baby Reindeer is based on Gadd's alleged real-life nightmare. In the Netflix adaptation, Gadd's character is bombarded by an overwhelming amount of attention from Martha. We're talking 41,071 emails, 744 tweets, 350 hours of voicemails, 106 letters, and 46 Facebook messages. Fast forward, and here comes Fiona Harvey, stepping forward as the alleged inspiration behind Martha, vehemently denying the accusations laid out in the series, and even threatening legal action against Gadd and Netflix. With the interview hitting over 10 million views, lots of fans are buzzing with opinions, many suggesting Fiona might not be telling the whole truth, citing her contradictory statements and calling her credibility into question. For instance, she claimed she hasn't seen the series, saying it'd make her sick to watch something so obscene and misogynistic.
Have you watched the drama?
Not at all.
You really haven't watched any of it?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious to?
No, I think I'd be sick. It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic.
But then a photo appears on her Facebook page that seems to tell a different story. It shows her in bed with Baby Reindeer playing in the background, and her caption is a defiant "F you, Richard Gadd." And when Morgan points out she sounds a lot like the actress from the show, Fiona quickly dismisses having seen the actress. Yet soon after, she gives a detailed description of her, right down to the hair color and apparent age.
Look and sound very similar to the actress in the drama.
I haven't seen the actress. We're both Scottish. We've both got dark hair. She's considerably younger than me. I think she's about 18 years younger than me.
Why does she know the actress's age and hair color if she's never seen her before?
It's like, how does she know all these specifics if she's never watched the show? Now, despite the show being set over a 3-year period and their twisted and complex relationship developing over that time, Harvey claims she barely knows Gadd. Netflix shows Martha going into the pub where Donnie worked nearly every day, sitting outside his house at the bus stop for hours on end, and even gate-crashing his live comedy shows. Yet Harvey said she probably only met Gadd 2 or 3 times and was adamant that she had never been to his home. Now, that's a stark contrast to the obsessive presence Netflix paints Martha to be.
Well, I've only met this guy 2 or 3 times. I don't know him.
Then there's the mountain of messages, 41,000 emails, 350 hours of voicemails, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters that the series claims Harvey bombarded Gadd with. But in the interview, her take on it barely touched the avalanche alleged by Netflix. Her first reaction was complete denial. That's simply not true. Think about it. If someone sent 41,000 emails, how many would that be a day? A lot, she scoffs.
You send him 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's simply not true.
But then, under a bit more pressure, she backtracks a tad. Maybe there were a couple of emails, she concedes, describing them as just jokey banter.
Did you send him?
None of that's true. I don't think I sent him anything.
You never sent him anything?
No. I think there may have been a couple of emails exchanging, but that was it. Just joking.
Morgan doesn't let up, probing about texts and Facebook messages. Harvey denies those outright, but then admits to sending maybe around 18 tweets.
Messages?
No.
Facebook messages?
No.
Did you tweet him?
I may have done years and years ago.
You actually tweeted him numerous times.
No, it wasn't numerous. It was about 18.
Even Morgan can't help but point out that 18 tweets is quite a lot for someone you claim to barely know. And then, almost as if she forgot her earlier comments, she slips and mentions they were friends, a total flip from her initial claim of barely knowing Gad.
Quite a lot to someone who's not that well known.
But we were all friends. I don't know him, but we were all friends. You know, it was banter.
Right, but it's
Morgan even points out that if she didn't do all those things shown in the series, then clearly the character can't be her. Fiona agrees, basically saying it's not her. This has everyone wondering why there's so much fuss about it. She's openly admitting she's not the real-life Martha, and the show itself never drops her name. So there wasn't an official link until Fiona started making claims about it. Fans are wondering why she's even thinking about suing a show she claims she hasn't watched.
This is a fictional character, hyperbole, exaggeration.
If it's not you that sent all this, then clearly Martha cannot be you.
Yes, Martha.
And then she does a 180 and admits to a part of the story. Morgan brings up the nickname Baby Reindeer, which is a major thread in the series. Now, in the show, this nickname becomes a big deal. It starts in a seemingly sweet moment at the pub where Donnie, aka Richard Gad, works, when Martha says he reminds her of a baby reindeer. It's both tender and a bit odd, sticking through both loving and angry exchanges throughout the series. By the finale, it's revealed that Baby Reindeer isn't just a random nickname. It has deep emotional roots for Martha, tied to a cherished childhood toy, which was one of the few bright spots in her tough childhood. Back in the interview, Fiona throws a curveball. She confirms that part of the story. She did have a toy reindeer, and yes, she did make a joke about Gad looking like a baby reindeer during Christmas when the shops were full of reindeer decorations, and Gad had a shaved head.
Did you have a baby reindeer?
I had a toy reindeer.
So that's true.
And he shaved his head. That bit is true. And there were reindeers in the shops. It was Christmas time or something. It was a joke.
She even quips, "So I have inadvertently penned the name of the show, but that is a true fact." Now, everyone's confused. If Fiona's story about the baby reindeer is true, how can she claim she's not the real-life Martha? Plus, how would Gad even know this personal detail if they weren't close, more than just acquaintances? She would also debunk how she first crossed paths with Richard Gad. In the show, the initial meeting is portrayed quite innocently. Martha walks into the pub where Donnie, played by Gad, is working as a barman. Feeling sympathetic towards her, he offers her a free cup of tea, which inadvertently triggers her obsession. However, Fiona tells a different story. She acknowledges she was at the pub, but not alone, as the show suggests. According to her, she was there having a meal with someone else and sipping on lemonade. She's diabetic and was very hungry at the time. The interaction didn't start with a kind gesture of tea from Gad, but rather with him overhearing her speaking and noticing her Scottish accent. Fiona recalls that Gad was the one who initiated the conversation, interrupting her while she was talking to someone else and exclaiming, "Oh, you're Scottish." From there, he apparently took over the conversation, a move she interprets as him showing an immediate and intense interest in her, hinting at the beginnings of his alleged obsession.
That's
And did you
true.
talk to him?
He interrupted a conversation. There was another barman there. And he said, "Oh, you're Scottish," and basically commandeered the conversation. So he seemed to be obsessed with me from that moment onward.
Then there's the infamous "Can I hang your curtains?" line, a moment in the show that signifies a turning point in Martha's fascination with Donnie, elevating it to full-blown obsession. It happens during a pub scene where Donnie, egged on by his mates, tries to deflect the peer pressure to ask Martha out. Instead, he tosses out what's meant to be a humorous, if not awkward, comment about hanging her curtains. Fiona admits this line was actually spoken, but she frames it as just typical pub banter, full of the usual risque humor. According to her, it was a regular joke around the Holly Arms, implying that it wasn't meant to be taken as seriously or personally as the show depicts.
Whilst bantering with you, Richard Gad told you he'd like to hang your curtains. Is that true?
This, I think, was a Holy Arms joke about curtains and a lot of window.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Also, when asked if she heckled him at his comedy show, Fiona would deny doing that. In Baby Reindeer, Martha heckles Donnie at his comedy shows, which plays a significant role in the storyline. The first time she heckles him, it turns out to be somewhat beneficial for him. He cleverly uses her jeers to snag some easy laughs from the audience. However, the second instance spirals out of control, ending with Martha being dragged out of the theater and causing Donnie to have an on-stage meltdown. But when Fiona is asked about these events, she flatly denies ever shouting or heckling during any of Gad's performances. She does admit to attending one of his shows a long time ago, but insists that she remained quiet throughout.
It goes on to say that you heckled Richard Gadd when he was appearing in his stand-up shows. Did you ever do that?
No.
Never?
No, it's not.
Did you ever attend his stand-up?
I think I went to one. It was a long, long time ago.
And you never shouted out or anything?
Why would I?
This admission leaves people puzzled. Why would she go to the show of someone she claims she barely knew? But it doesn't stop there. The series also portrays a dramatic scene where, in a fit of jealousy, Martha attacks Donnie's transgender girlfriend, Terry. The show depicts Martha as trying to pull out Terry's hair and assaulting her, while also hurling transphobic insults. This violent episode is completely at odds with Fiona's version of events. She claims she had no idea Gadd was even in a relationship, recalling instead that he had told her he was homo.
Did you ever attack Richard Gadd's girlfriend because you were jealous?
No, I don't think he had a girlfriend. I think he's homosexual. But no, I have never been to his house or attacked any girlfriend.
Now, this particular claim throws another wrench into the narrative, especially when the discussion turns to a deeply disturbing scene from the show. In a particularly harrowing episode, Martha is shown essaying Donnie by a canal at night. When confronted with this, Fiona strongly denies any such actions. She states, "I didn't lunge at him across the bar. I didn't SA him in a canal." Moreover, she insists that there was no romantic or physical attraction on her part. In fact, she claims it was she who rejected him. She recounts an incident where Gadd allegedly made a pass at her, humorously linking it to his comment about fixing curtains, a known euphemism. She says she turned him down, citing a boyfriend, and emphasized that she wasn't interested.
He asked me to sleep with him. He said, "Would I like my curtains fixed?" And I laughed, and he said, "That's a euphemism. Do you want me to come home with you?" And I said, "I've got a boyfriend." I gave him the brush off.
Her claim that Richard Gadd told her he was homo, but then seemingly made an advance, really throws a spanner in the works. It's got everyone wondering, if Gadd is gay, why would he hit on her? Now, there's one key point in the drama. In the show, there's this heavy courtroom scene where Martha, portrayed as deeply troubled, breaks down as she pleads guilty to stalking and intimidating Donnie. She even admits to harassing his parents, which leads the judge to sentence her to 9 months behind bars. This part of the story really brings the drama to a head, but here's where things get really sticky. Fiona is completely shaking up this narrative. She's saying she's never been to prison and has never been convicted of anything. She's pretty fired up about clearing her name, calling the accusations completely untrue and very career damaging. She's adamant, "I'm not a stalker. It's just complete nonsense."
Are you guilty or not guilty?
And getting a 9-month prison sentence. And that is completely untrue.
That's completely untrue. Very, very defamatory to me. Very career damaging, and I wanted to rebut that.
This is a huge deal because if Fiona has never been jailed, then the whole credibility of Richard Gadd's story, and by extension, the show's claim to be a true life account, is thrown into question. Now everyone's buzzing with theories. One camp is wondering if maybe Richard Gadd, along with the producers at Clerkenwell Films and Netflix, might have seriously embellished the truth. If that's the case, they could be looking at some serious legal headaches. On the other hand, if it turns out Fiona did all the things the show claims, then it looks like the media might be exploiting the troubles of someone who's potentially mentally unwell just to pull in viewers. Either way, it's a messy situation that's making a lot of people uncomfortable. Even Piers Morgan himself felt that Fiona wasn't being completely honest with him. He couldn't help but raise an eyebrow at a few of her comments that seemed a bit off. Even though Fiona denied much of what was said about her, there was a moment that particularly caught Morgan's attention. She slipped up and mentioned, "Even if the email thing was true, the rest is not."
Even if the email thing was true, the rest is not. So
Why would you qualify that, Fiona?
Sorry, why would I what?
Why would you suddenly qualify even if it's true about the emails? But when you say even if the emails were true,
I didn't send him 41,000
it doesn't mean the
emails.
more serious stuff is.
Let me rephrase that.
That's really what you're saying. Right?
Now, the email thing she's referring to is the staggering 41,000 emails she allegedly sent to Gadd. If there's any truth to that, it definitely paints a picture of her being quite persistent, maybe even obsessively so, in trying to contact him. Morgan also found it odd when Fiona admitted that she uses up to 6 email addresses and 4 mobile phones, claiming she needs them for different people. Morgan pointed out that this kind of setup isn't exactly what you'd call normal.
Do you have the same email address you've always had?
I had 6 at one point.
Why?
Because I like to keep people on different phones and different emails. It's
6 different email
easier.
accounts. 6 is a lot.
Is it?
I don't know anybody with 6 email addresses.
You don't know many people then. I know people with 4 or 6 emails address.
Or was it 4 or 6?
Yet, despite these oddities and the inconsistencies in her story, Morgan stressed that it's important for both Gad and Harvey to have the opportunity to share their sides of the story. He said, "But if Richard Gad feels entitled to make millions airing his side of the story and make very serious allegations about Fiona Harvey in the process, then she is surely entitled to respond and defend herself. As for who is exploiting whom, I'll leave that to the court of public opinion to decide. But what do you think of all this? Let us know in the comment and we'll catch you in the next video."